I'm Michael Reel, and this is RealUrbanNews.com. We are attending the Watts Town Hall meeting here at the historic Macedonia Baptist Church, Los Angeles. The topic of discussion tonight, repairing the breach and strategizing for the future. Good evening and welcome to the Watts Town Hall meeting, preparing the breach, strategizing for the future. I'm Michael Reel. Our purpose of gathering this evening in this historic house of worship is because Macedonia Baptist Church has been here all of the time. Macedonia Baptist Church has been here through the riots of 1965. Macedonia Baptist Church was here during the civil unrest of 1992. Macedonia Baptist Church has had a front row seat through all of the challenges, the decay, and the despair that has plagued this community of Watts. Tonight, our purpose signals that the challenges, the despair, and the decay. Tonight, our presence signals those things are a thing of our past. Tonight is our first step toward a bright, hopeful, and prosperous community. Tonight, we leave those things that dogged our past behind us, and we step into a bright future. Once again, welcome to the Watts Town Hall meeting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Morris O'Kelly, and I want to welcome you to the Watts Town Hall meeting. It is good to be in the number. It is good to see all of you. I'd like to thank Pastor Scott for inviting me this evening. I want to thank all of you for having me this evening. It's my honor and privilege to moderate this panel discussion. And the first question that came to mind is, what is the starting point? How do we best contextualize and conceptualize these issues that are confronting us individually and collectively as a community?
Reverend Scott, tell me about this town hall meeting that you're holding here at the Macedonia Baptist Church in Watts.
Tonight, it is my intention to rally folk to vote, but then to rally folk around the issues that have so long plagued us. Watts is a place that's filled with resources, yet our resources have been underutilized and underrepresented. And so we want to begin to hold our leaders accountable and to say to them that you must start paying some attention to us.
What are some of the challenges that you recognize in this community that have, let's say, plagued this area for so long?
Well, of course, economics, of course, education, the lack of access to food or to fresh foods. Streets are not properly cleaned, and we have a large amount of slumlords in the area. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on.
This neighborhood has also gone through a shift, demographic shift, like most urban communities around the nation. The population was once heavy African American, is now probably 70 to 80% Hispanic. Yeah. How does this town hall meeting address their needs?
Well, our Latino brothers and sisters have definitely been invited to share with us. As a church, it is my intention to always say to our neighbors, regardless of their skin, that we're here for you. The issues that we're talking about tonight are not just black issues. They're human issues. And so we're going to talk about the issues.
What's your hope for this community?
My hope for this community that it is a thriving community where kids can walk safely down the street, where homeowners and residents are proud of the space in which they live, where socioeconomics are once again beginning to thrive in this community. That's my hope for this community. I see what's happening at King Hospital. Jordan Downs is slated to be tore down, and they're going to rebuild. My hope is that it brings vibrancy to this community.
All right, thank you.
Pastor Burroughs, I hear her comment about connection, and I wonder about whether we have lost that connection because we no longer worship in the way that we once did. Are we lacking in our church? Are we lacking in our community?
It's a combination of both. churches have gotten to the point where we do not express ourselves in the community, and therefore our community becomes lost, especially in dealing with the educational system. And our families, we do not take an active role in our child's education. Some of the things that go on in the school need to be filtered back into the churches, and the churches need to deal with the educational system itself.
We're talking about social economic improvements in this community.
She just broke all the rules, but come on, stand up and
I
talk.
got you, because I've been listening.
All right, come on, talk.
After the Watts riots, 2 pieces of legislation was put together by the city council, 2 city ordinances that preclude you from developing new commercial interests in this city. If you tear down a house, you can't build a business. You can build another house, but you can't build a business. This community has been sick for 40 years because when you riot, they shut you down by putting you in the houses because that's what you asked for. But no community can survive without being a business, without the lifeblood. Everybody who works here, most of the people who work here have to go out of this community to work here. There's no jobs in this community, and why? There's no commercial properties available for business to open here. Business has to be a business. And it's not, I don't care how many city council people have been there, they have not addressed it. They have formed CDCs to raise money from this community, but none of it was put here. Watts' name has been on every piece of legislation that came out here of people want to get money, but Watts haven't been the recipient. That's the problem. And until you're ready to address that, you're not going to address it. I've been sitting here quietly listening, and anybody who knows me, I'm not the person who's going to sit there for long listening to people tell untruth. Nobody cared about this community enough to make this community be what it should be. There are people who are businesses who want to come in here. They don't know who to talk to because nobody's organized enough to pull the money in here. They want to spend it, but who do they spend it with? The same people who've been stealing it? People who represent this community have stolen money from this community. That's the problem with Watts. You hear Watts, you speak Watts. No matter where you're in this country, you're going to hear the negative comments about this community. Until you come here, you don't know that these are real people who work, real people who bought their homes, real people who are losing their homes, and nobody gives a damn.
Ms. Sims, how important is it that we have town hall meetings like this in this community of Watts?
It's extremely important, even more important so that information to the community gets out. A lot of the people sitting in there are giving them a lot of the things that could improve this community, but they're not given an opportunity to learn about it. This is an election. Let's not make no mistake about that, and everybody's going to come and talk about what they've done, but this community has been stifled since the Watts riot. It didn't improve, and it's steadily getting worse. Nothing is coming in here, it's dried out. There are 4 housing developments here. You have underserved children in school, you have underserved residents, you have underserved seniors. This is an underserved community, and it can't grow because of the ordinances that were put in place, planning zones that don't allow commercial development in this community.
Well, good evening, and please join me in thanking Pastor Scott again for having us here and for doing this great town hall. Having served on both the local, state, and federal level, what I would say in the capacity of what I do right now, the biggest problem is that we don't have on the federal level enough resources to take care of our domestic priorities.
But I think it's important that we also talk about on a local level and then on a federal level how we are opposed to destructive riots.
Talk about the importance of discussing education in a town hall meeting, a town hall setting like this tonight.
I think that what I was hoping to do is to communicate to the Watts residents the injustices that are going on in education. And I think I'm not quite sure I did that as best I could. You know, there's just so much filler. You know, as soon as I got them in the door of the school, we started talking about things that had nothing to do with the school. There are injustices going on in the school right down the street. And we have got to start paying attention to those if we are going to change the face of this community.
Yeah, I was going to say Jordan High School just got a commitment for $75 million to do a significant amount of work at Jordan High School. I think that's only...
That's one school.
Yeah, it's a start in the right direction. I think that they shouldn't start and don't stop. You know, they start out something, and in order for it to be successful, you keep that something rolling. So I would think that they need to have one of these meetings at least once a month with the panels that they have, a different panel, or representatives or something of that nature. But then when you're talking about Watts, you know, for Watts to be as affluent as it was back when I was growing up, will never be again. I wouldn't care what you come bring in here. It's not going to be as affluent as it was. You know, we had. When I grew up here, you know, we had 103rd was full of big businesses, you know, where the kids in Watts worked here. They worked. They got work ethics, something that don't happen here in Watts today. You got gang ethics because there's nothing to do but be part of the gang. You know, so.
Some of the things that we're doing is not to make money.
Guthrie, the issue of housing came up tonight at the town hall meeting.
Yes.
Citizens expressed a lot of concerns about fair housing. And they also want to know more about the Jordan Down project being demolished and being rebuilt. What can you tell us about that and what information did you share with this town hall tonight?
Well, Jordan Downs has been in the works for many, many years. There's been a great deal of effort put into a community planning process to develop an overall master development plan for the area. Jordan Downs currently consists of 700 public housing units, and the plan that's been developed calls for 1,400 housing units, both public housing replacement units as well as market and other affordable housing, but also a significant amount of commercial and retail development, which is clearly much needed in the Watts community. So if we can move this process forward, and I think we're on the verge, hopefully, of being able to do that, it would be a tremendous boon to the economy of the community and I think provide many, many opportunities for the residents of Watts.
Mr. Hobson, how important is it that healthcare be a part of the revitalization of Watts as was discussed tonight in the town hall meeting?
I think it's extremely important. Basically, you can't have a healthy community without healthy people. And one of the main things that we try to do in our organization is try not only to provide high quality health services, but to really reach out to the community and provide events like our annual Women's Health Fair and our Men's Health Fair, where we break all records in terms of prostate tests and essentially providing screening services for men each year.
Talk about the importance of having this town hall meeting tonight, and did it address the needs of the Hispanic community, the brown community?
Yes, thank you, Michael. Yes, this town hall meeting was done in such a timely fashion, considering that we're now in election season, and it was just an incredible event. I learned so much, and it I think addressed every single concern and question that the community here in Watts has to offer. And yes, it does encompass the whole community, which includes the Latino community, and it did address our concerns as well, since we all share the same concerns.
I'm thankful for your time. I'm thankful for your energy. You are ministry partners to us, and we are ministry partners to you.